Hello and welcome. In today's video I will be creating a Ramadan Kareem card, but before I get started I want to thank you for watching, subscribing, commenting and for all your support, which I really appreciate. For today's card I will be using some of these dies and this stamp set, from which I will be using this stamp. For my first step I am using some DIY ink sprays and I'm showing you how I made them. I am using some Memento re-inker and I have already filled up the spray bottle with some water and I am just adding some droplets from the re-inker. And after I have shaken the ink well, the ink is ready to use. The colors I am using for my partial background are Memento Dandelion, Rosebud and Tangelo. I am spraying a sufficient amount of ink onto a sheet of an ordinary printer paper and I am spraying with no rhyme or reason until I get the mixture and the intensity I am looking for. And then I am putting the sheet aside to dry. Next I am creating a frame using the two largest die from this tech die set, and I am trying to center the two dies because I will be using the outside from the cutout as well. And this is what I will get after cutting everything out, and I have cut out as well a second frame from an old card packaging to give the frame at the end some more dimension. Now I am coloring the frame using some Memento Danube blue, and I am applying the color by using the Memento Dewdrop ink pad. To add some more interest to the frame I am using an inexpensive marker and I am drawing some strokes around the frame. With some wet adhesive I am adhering the colored frame to the frame I have cut out from some old card packaging. For my next step I will be using this stamp from this stamp set and I will be using the colors Memento Tangelo, Potter's Clay and Rich Coca. For my panel I am using the outside which was left from cutting out the frame, and now I am fixing this piece to my stamping platform and I am starting by stamping the border stamp in the color Potter's Clay. Once to the upper edge of the panel and once to the lower edge of the panel. Next row I am stamping in Memento Rich Coca and I am only adding a row to the upper half of the panel. Since the stamp isn't large enough to cover the whole width of the panel, I am aligning the stamp to cover the whole width. Then I am repeating to stamp the same way once more in Memento Tangelo, and the rest I am filling in by using the stamp lengthwise, and for this I am stamping up the stamp using all three colors, and I am starting in the middle with the lightest color, which is Tangelo, and then I am coloring on each side with Potter's Clay, and on the outer side I am coloring with Rich Coca. Next I am cutting out this intricate background die from an index card, and the cutout looks like this. After I have trimmed down the background I am now adhering the intricate die cut to the background using some wet adhesive which I am applying using a fine tip bottle. Since this cutout is so delicate I am smoothing it out from the back side using a bone folder. With some scissors I am trimming down the die cut from the back side. For the focal point I am creating a lantern using these two dies, and I am cutting out the two dies partial from an index card. With some Memento Rich Coca I am coloring the two parts, applying the color directly using the ink pad. Using some small scissors I am trimming off some little parts from the lantern not needed. Now I am creating a white backing for the lantern, and for this I am tracing roughly the lantern on a sheet of white paper, and then I am roughly cutting out this white piece, which I then adhere using some wet adhesive to the back of my lantern. From some golden mirror cardstock I have made a second cutout, from which I will be using the small parts to inlay into my lantern. I am using an ordinary toothpick to create some kind of sticky tool, and for this I am applying a tiny amount of glue to my craft sheet, and then I am dipping the tip of the toothpick into the glue, and now I am able to pick up the tiny parts with the toothpick to inlay them into the lantern. With some wet adhesive I am now adhering a little stand to the lantern. With this corner punch I am rounding the corners of the card base as well as the corners of the panel. And then I am coloring the edges of my card base with some Memento Danube blue. And again I am applying the color using the ink pad. To create my sentiment I am using this packaging because I am going for the brown tone, and I am using the smallest die from this die set as a template. And since I don't have a suitable stamp for my sentiment, I will be creating a handwritten embossed sentiment. And since I don't have a Versamark marker, I am using an old inexpensive marker from which I have washed the tip, and now I am dipping the tip into the Versamark ink pad, and I am writing over the sentiment which I have written with a pencil. Next I am adding some golden embossing powder to the sentiment, which says, by the way, Ramadan Kareem, and then I am heat setting everything. And after I have cut out the sentiment looks like this, and to add some more interest I am distressing the edges using some Memento rich cocoa, which I am applying using an ordinary sponge. And now it's time to bring my card together. First I am adhering the panel using some wet adhesive to the background, and then I am adhering the frame inside the panel. Next I am adhering the panel to the card base using some double-sided tape. Next I am bringing in the lantern to the base of the window frame, and on the top of the lantern goes the sentiment. And this was my card for today. I hope you had fun and enjoyed today's video. If so, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to check on my other card making videos. Thanks for watching. I hope I see you soon. Have a nice day. Ramadan Kareem. Bye.